All right, so today we're diving deep into something pretty cool. 50 evening journal prompts, for those quiet moments before bed.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
It is. It's all about turning that time into like a powerful tool for self-reflection and growth and all that good stuff.
I like it. I'm all about those little moments of peace.
Me too. And we're going to be using a blog post as our guide for this deep dive.
Oh, cool. Which one?
It's called 50 Evening Journal Prompts from lestallion.com, written by Clara Penrose.
Okay, I've heard of her.
Yeah, she's great. And get this, it was just published yesterday, December 28th, 2024. So it's like fresh off the press.
Wow, that's awesome.
I know, right? And she's broken these prompts down into some really intriguing categories, like reflecting on your day, practicing gratitude, preparing for tomorrow, even releasing stress.
Those are all super relevant.
Right, it's like a whole roadmap for journaling.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into that first category, reflecting on your day.
Okay, let's hear it.
Penrose starts off strong with this question. What was the most rewarding part of your day, and how did it make you feel? It's like focusing on those little wins, even on those crazy busy days.
Yeah, I love that idea. Sometimes we get so caught up in what went wrong that we forget to celebrate the good stuff.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
like training our brains to look for the positive, which is super important.
Absolutely. It can really shift our whole perspective.
Okay, so another prompt that really stood out to me was, write about a moment today when you felt calm and centered. What contributed to that feeling? It's almost like playing detective,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what brings us peace.
Oh, I love that. Like a mindfulness detective.
Totally. And once we know what brings us that sense of calm, we can like intentionally do more of those things.
Right. Like schedule it into our day.
Exactly. Now, Penrose doesn't shy away from the tough stuff either. There's this one prompt that asks, what is one thing you wish you had done differently today? How can you approach tomorrow with intention? And that one always makes me think like, is it helpful to dwell on what we could have done differently, or should we just focus on moving forward?
That's a good question. I think it's about finding a balance, not dwelling on regrets, but using reflection as a way to learn and grow.
So it's more about like identifying patterns and making better choices tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, I keep making the same choice that leads to this outcome. So how can I do things differently next time?
That makes a lot of sense. It's about using reflection to actually make positive changes in our lives.
Exactly. So what's next?
Let's move on to the practicing gratitude category. Penrose is clearly a big believer in the power of gratitude, and I am too.
Oh, me too. Gratitude is huge.
Okay, so one of her prompts is, list 3 things you're most grateful for today and why they made your day better. It sounds so simple, yet we often forget to do it.
It is simple, but it's so powerful. Just taking a moment to appreciate what we have can really boost our mood and like reduce stress.
There's even science behind it, right? Like studies have shown that gratitude can actually improve our well-being.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this amazing tool we have right at our fingertips.
Okay, here's one that I thought was interesting. What is one small everyday thing you're grateful for? How does it bring joy or comfort to your life? Sometimes it's those little things that we take for granted that actually make the biggest difference.
Totally. Like a warm cup of coffee in the morning or a sunny day, just little moments that spark joy.
Exactly. It's about finding those little sparks throughout the day and savoring them.
I love that. And I bet that can make a big difference in how we feel overall.
All right, so let's shift gears and talk about the future with the preparing for tomorrow prompts.
Oh, I like this. Getting ready for a new day.
Me too. This one really resonated with me. Write about one goal or intention you want to set for tomorrow. How will it bring meaning to your day? It's like we're taking control instead of just letting life happen to us.
Yeah, it's like setting an intention for the day ahead instead of just going with the flow.
Exactly. Could be something small. Like I intend to be more present in my conversations, or I'll make time for a walk in nature.
Yeah, I love those examples. It's about being mindful and making choices that align with our values.
Okay, so Penrose also talks about the importance of starting our day, right? There's this prompt, reflect on how you can improve your morning routine to set a positive tone for the day ahead. Do you have any tips for like crafting a really effective morning routine?
I think the key is to find what works for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach, but incorporating some mindfulness can be really helpful, like meditation or deep breathing, or even just sitting quietly for a few minutes.
So it's about starting the day from a place of like centeredness and clarity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It sets the tone for the whole day.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we talked about reflecting on the day, practicing gratitude, and preparing for tomorrow. But we all know that life isn't always sunshine and rainbows.
True, true. Sometimes things get a little stressful.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Penrose's releasing stress and emotions prompts come in.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Okay, so this one really resonated with me. Write about something that caused you stress today. How can you release its hold on your mind tonight? It's like journaling can be this amazing outlet for getting all those worries out of our heads and onto the page.
Yeah, it's like giving ourselves permission to process those emotions instead of just bottling them up.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like decluttering our minds.
Exactly. And sometimes those worries seem so much smaller once they're out there on paper.
Yeah, totally. It's like
Yeah.
getting some perspective.
Okay, this next prompt is interesting. It says, reflect on how your body feels after today. What does it need to feel rested and restored? I feel like we often forget to check in with our bodies, you know?
Oh, absolutely. We get so caught up in our heads that we forget to listen to what our bodies are trying to tell us.
Totally. Like maybe we need a warm bath or a gentle stretch or just an early night.
Yeah, it's about being kind to ourselves and giving our bodies what they need.
It's all connected, right? Like our physical well-being and our mental and emotional states.
Absolutely. They all influence each other.
Okay, here's another one that I love.
Hmm.
It says, reflect on a time today when you felt overwhelmed. How can you practice self-compassion in response? Sometimes I'm my own worst critic.
Oh, tell me about it. Self-compassion is so important, but it can be so hard.
Right, it's like we would never talk to a friend the way we sometimes talk to ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's about treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer to a friend.
I love that. Okay, so Penrose also suggests some practical techniques for dealing with stress, like mindful breathing. There's this prompt, reflect on how your breath feels right now. How can you use mindful breathing to release tension? I've tried meditation before, but sometimes it feels a little intimidating.
Yeah, I get that. But mindful breathing doesn't have to be complicated. You can just focus on your breath for a few minutes and notice the sensation of each inhale and exhale.
It's amazing how something so simple can be so effective, right?
Totally. It's like a little reset button for our nervous system.
All right, so let's move on to the embracing reflection and gratitude section.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Me too. It's all about seeing the bigger picture and connecting with ourselves on a deeper level.
Sounds very zen.
It is. This prompt really stood out to me. Reflect on how the evening's quiet moments help you reconnect with yourself. In our busy world, carving out that time for ourselves is so important.
Absolutely. It's like giving ourselves permission to just be.
Totally. Okay, here's one that I think you'll appreciate. Write about one thing you love about evenings. How does this time feel special or sacred to you? I personally find evenings to be really magical.
Oh, me too. It's like the world slows down and everything feels more peaceful.
Exactly. It's that transition from the busyness of the day to the stillness of the night.
I love that.
Penrose also talks about the importance of making evening journaling a regular practice. This prompt asks, reflect on how you can make journaling a nightly habit. What benefits do you hope to gain from consistency? I've struggled with consistency in the past. Any tips?
Well, I think the key is to start small. Don't try to write pages and pages. Just commit to 5 or 10 minutes each evening.
So it's about making it manageable and not putting too much pressure on ourselves.
Exactly. And find a time and place that works for you, like maybe right before bed or in a cozy spot where you feel relaxed.
That makes sense.
Ah,
Okay, let's talk about some of the prompts that encourage us to think about the bigger picture. This one really stood out to me. Reflect on how evenings are a time to pause and celebrate the day's journey. What moment today felt the most meaningful? It's like we're taking a moment to appreciate all that we've accomplished, even the little things.
yeah, it's about acknowledging our wins and giving ourselves credit for all that we do.
And it's about finding those moments of meaning that make life worth living.
Absolutely. It's like a little gratitude practice for the day.
Speaking of gratitude, there's this prompt that says, write about the last thought you want to hold on to before falling asleep. How does it comfort or inspire you? It's almost like we're choosing what dreams we want to have.
Oh, I
I-
love that imagery, like setting the stage for a peaceful night's sleep.
Exactly. Penrose seems to suggest that gratitude plays a big role in cultivating that peace.
Gratitude is such a powerful tool, right?
It is. There's this prompt. Reflect on the role of gratitude in your nightly reflections. How does it help you find peace before bed? I've definitely noticed that when I'm feeling thankful, it's easier to let go of worries and drift off to sleep.
Me too. It's like gratitude helps to calm our minds and ease our anxieties.
So it's about focusing on the good instead of dwelling on the negative.
Exactly. And there's always something to be grateful for, even on the toughest days.
All right, so this last prompt is a beautiful way to end the day. It says, write about one thing you're grateful for in this very moment. How can this practice help you end your day with peace? Such a simple yet powerful practice, you know?
It is. It's like a little reminder to find the good in the present moment.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Finding those little moments of peace and gratitude throughout the day.
Absolutely. It's about making those moments a priority.
I think Penrose's prompts really highlight how journaling isn't just about recording events or processing emotions. It's about connecting with ourselves on a deeper level and finding that inner peace.
It's about creating a space for self-reflection and exploration and nurturing our inner landscape. It really is. And you know what I love about all these prompts is how they encourage us to be more intentional with our evenings.
That's so true. It's like we're taking back those precious hours before bed and turning them into something really meaningful.
Exactly. Instead of just scrolling on our phones or watching TV.
Right. It's about giving ourselves the gift of self-reflection and creating a ritual that nourishes our minds and souls.
I love that I'm all about creating rituals, especially evening rituals.
Me too. Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into these 50 evening journal prompts, I think it's important to remember that there's no one right way to journal.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a personal practice.
Exactly. The key is to find what works for you. Experiment with different prompts, see what resonates, discover your own style.
Yeah, and be kind to yourself. Don't put too much pressure on it. Just let it flow.
So to our listener out there, as you embark on your own evening journaling journey, I encourage you to approach it with a sense of curiosity and playfulness.
And remember, even a few minutes each evening can make a big difference.
It's about those little moments of self-connection and reflection that can add up to big changes over time.
Totally. It's a gift you give to yourself.
Yeah.
A chance to pause, breathe, and reconnect with your inner wisdom.
I love that. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Wow, time flies when you're having fun journaling.
It really does. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of evening journal prompts.
It was my pleasure. And to our listeners out there, happy journaling.